Hey guys, still waiting for a lot of people to get here. Whoops. What's up? So I'm starting this like a half hour early, just to start early, because I know it takes a while for people to stroll into this room. Hey Tani. Hey Sarcasm. Hey Janelle. Hey Mary. Hey, Michelle. See, when I use this room, it never updates right. Let me use this one. This one's not updated either. It says there's 3 people. Hey, Harry. Harry, I tried to do the hair. I couldn't do it because my hair is too light now. It doesn't work underneath. Obviously 24. So I'm seeing 21. Yeah, congratulations, mommy of 3. Now it's going to be mommy of 3 plus grandma of 1. Vitella's got to hold out. I'm showing splitting without the purple hair. All right. I'm telling you, I did. I tried. I haven't worn it in so long, but when I try to like mix my hair in, it doesn't work anymore. And but I interviewed him early. I interviewed tonight. I didn't know his last name. His last name's not Hauschultz because he's Tina's sister. So I don't think that's her last name, but that was Ethan's last name, but I'm not positive. But I interviewed him earlier, and it's going to be a great interview. I mean, for some reason, if he doesn't answer, I have the interview from earlier, but he did say that he was going to interview at 8:30. So I figure I'll give some time everyone to come in. Hey, Andrea. So for those of you who like aren't familiar with the case at all, it's another case out of Manitowoc. And it's about a 7-year-old boy. It's probably the only video that I've ever really cried on. He was brutally killed by a 14, then now 15-year-old, by a very, very mean father or guardian and a very mean woman who was the guardian, the aunt of this kid. And I spoke with earlier that his brother, the aunt's brother. And it was really tough. Like, we kind of lightened it. We talked about making a murder a little. But it was really the only video and the only case that I've ever really cried on. Even looking for a cover, I cried. So don't be surprised if I cry again. Thanks. But it's a rough case. Thank you, Mommy. How's my lighting? Everyone tell me get this ring light. I can barely see. And I went pro with a mic. You can't really see it. But I went pro. Hey, Republican. Republican Ash and Republican Abigail. All right, I like that. Yeah, don't blame me. It's got to be exciting. That's just you showing your true compassion for the young boy. Carrie, did you see the video? I literally cried. I had to redo it like a bunch of times. It was a rough video to do. Very rough. Thanks, Camelo. I would say it's one of the hardest cases I think I'll ever deal with. And it's just so new, and it's so, it's just so new. And talking to him, like, what happened was I got this message on my 1-800 I mean, not 1-800, but the 612 Perplex, which is Google Voice. And somebody like left me this message. He's like, is this Perplex? If it is, can you give me a call? And I'm like, okay, I'm getting a death threat or something. Like, who is this? And then I looked up the number and it's Wisconsin. So I'm like, who would call me from Wisconsin? Like, and a guy, you know? And I'm like, okay, this is weird. But I'm like, all right, let me give him a call back and see. And sure enough, he's like, I wanted to straighten out some stuff that you have on your videos about my nephew, Ethan. Oh, wow. Okay. And we talked for almost an hour. Okay, Mello, I have 2 videos on this case so far. They just got arrested on February 4th, so there's not a lot yet. But I do have 2 videos on PURPLEXEDQT. And Ziggy, I asked him that. I asked him, do you know what happened to Ethan's, like, there was a baby? I so thought of you. And he had said that, hold on, let me check my sounds. He had said that he didn't know, and I was like, oh man. But he said that he didn't know that much about the natural mom because he's Tina's brother, and he said he loves Tina but at a distance. Hey, Dave. Dave, is Tina's last name Hauschultz? Hey, Marie. Because he said his name was Rob, and I used Hauschultz, but I don't even know. He said he's Tina's brother, so I don't know if that's their last name. I don't think it is. Hey, Long Island girl. But yeah, he didn't know too much about their biological parents. But he certainly knows a lot about Damien and Tim and Tina. And one of the ways that he agreed to do this tonight is to find out more about Damien. Now, Damien is the 15-year-old that killed him. But he says there's a whole side of Damien that a lot of people don't know. Okay, Tina's maiden name is McKeever. All right, so then that's what his name is. Thank you, Kimberly. I know we would have a different last name. I realized that after I put it up, I'm like, I gotta change that because I don't know the dude's last name. But yeah, we were talking for like an hour before. It was hard. Can you give me a quick replay? Yeah. On April 20th of 2018, a 7-year-old boy was murdered by a 14-year-old in the backyard because they were forced to carry a log for 2 hours at a time without taking a break because they didn't know their Bible study. And I learned a lot today about Tim and where he comes from. And I'm going to let, during the interview, I'm going to let him tell it again. And like I said, if for some reason he backs out or something, I have the interview from earlier that I'll play. But, I mean, he seemed like he was willing to do it. But on, you know, the parents said they weren't home. And not the parents, the guardians said they weren't home. The real biological parents are in and out of jail. This kid is a twin. And what broke my heart that I found out today is that CPS just put all 3 kids with another Hauschultz, and they're just tossing them around family members. So one family of this family killed this kid, but yet they, you know, instead of getting him out of the environment, according to Rob, they put him right back in another environment, which is not any better, which is heartbreaking. McKeever. Thank you, Kimberly. McKeever. Okay. So then let me change it. So it's Rob McKeever. All right, changed. Thank you. I didn't want to use the wrong name. But so the reason, K-Mello, the reason why, what drew me to this case was, one, nobody else is covering it. Two, it's out of Manitowoc. For those of you guys that aren't following Making a Murderer, that's also where Making a Murderer is out of. And it's not a big place. And it involves twins, and I have twins. So there were a lot of reasons that hit me. Plus, it's brand new. They were just arrested on February 4th of 2019, and only one of them went to court so far. And not only did they basically, you know, say F you, but the courts are putting more responsibility on the guardian, the adopted father, because the father legally adopted Damien. They don't have any bio relatives. They're in and out of jail. Marie, I haven't heard about it because it is so new. If you look up Ethan Hauschultz, plus I have 2 videos on it on the other channel. Hauschultz, thank you. Dave knows the biological mother because he's from there. I don't know if they're biological relatives other than they've been in and out of jail a lot. Why didn't the uncle call someone if he had concerns about the child that killed Ethan? I can ask him that. The background is Anthony Hauschultz, who is my friend on Facebook but won't speak to me. Now, what I learned today, though, and we're going to discuss this too, is Anthony and Tina, not Tina, Anthony and I forgot the biological mom's name, have a lawsuit against the Hauschultz for, it's like I don't know, I think it was like $200,000, some lawsuit for wrongful death. I don't know if it's against CPS, if it's against them, but they have a lawsuit going, which I learned today, which is why he can't really speak to me. So that I learned today. Ah, thanks, Harry. Hey, Robbie. Hey, Britt. So, Travis, the biological parents are in and out of jail. And the mom just got out of jail, but, you know, they had a house in Manitowoc that the police labeled as a nuisance house. And because it was labeled as a nuisance house, the cops were there like 54 times. And CPS was called. And I explained all this in a video, I think it was the first video that I did on it. And it's on the other channel. But like 30 or 40 calls to CPS were done. And they didn't like do anything. And then they finally took them out. And then they put them with the Tina and her husband. Now, what the brother was telling me, and I don't want to tell you too much about what he was telling me because then, you know, you guys will be bored when he talks. But one of the main things he was telling me is that Tina was only looking out for the money. Like, she just wanted the money from the foster care. And he had taken Damien for like a year. He said, and Damien should have never been around children, and the parents knew that. The money from a lawsuit should go to surviving children of trust that the biological parents have no control over if they win. The brother's coming on tonight. The brother of Tina, who's one of the murderers, who's being charged with the murder. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it as well. In-out drugs. Drugs, a lot of things. So drugs are a main one. Of course, Britt. And I think I don't remember exactly how he put it. Either he was accused, the one that I'm interviewing, that either he was accused of having a mental illness, he has a mental illness because he wanted Damien. I don't remember exactly how he said it, but I'm sure he'll talk about it again tonight. I didn't get any notice that you put new content on your original channel. I made these videos a couple of weeks ago. I do uploads on that channel. I do lives on here. But I may upload the Ethan videos on here because this is where I'm doing the lives. Does anyone know what the state pays when you foster? There's actually 4 of them. It was him, his twin brother, and two girls. And actually, for 4 kids in Wisconsin, you get a nice amount of money. I mean, you get food stamps, you get everything. So impressed by the type of guests you get on your show. It gives you such... thanks, Jazzy. Hey, James. Travis, you can get a good amount of money. Oh, CPS failed these kids miserably. Miserably. Hey, Romad. Miserably. I mean, I literally cried when I read it. And we talked about sarcasm, you know that, but we had talked about it this morning when I interviewed him, when I spoke to him. And it was mind-blowing to me. Like, and I even said to him at one point, like, CPS was called like 30 times and they did nothing. Why? I don't get it. I'm sorry, B. Fergs. I don't know what I would do. It's hard. Like, I don't know. I'm weird when it comes to kids and parents because, like, you guys know in my last video, I told you my whole drug history, but I didn't have kids then. And, you know, fathers, and I apologize to anyone if this, you know, means anything to anyone. But so my apologies up front. But, you know, you hear fathers that are in and out of jails and they talk about how they love their kids. And I've always been a big believer. And if you love your kids so much, you would stay out of prison. So with both his parents being in and out of jail all the time, you know, I feel like I don't think they deserve the money. Or they, you know, even now they don't have their kids and they're both out of jail. So it's heartbreaking. Hey, Pink. CPS does get immunity a lot. I know that from personal experience. They do get immunity. All they have to do is say they're sorry. It's horrible. CPS does more harm than good. I agree with that. I agree, B. Fergs. They shouldn't. They were accused of blowing pot smoke and the kids, yeah. The mother, not the father though. I think just the mother was accused of blowing pot smoke in the kid's face to keep him calm. Yeah, the biological parents. Trying to get through someone to my life to understand that. It's true, though. You can't say that you love your child if you're constantly doing illegal things that's going to take you away from them. You just don't. I mean, honestly, you find out you're having, or when you have kids, you have to change. You just have to. And I'm not saying I was perfect after my kids were born, because I wasn't, but I became perfect. You know what I mean? They claim they're all about family unity. They're definitely not about family unity. Absolutely not. Severing immunity. Legislator has to waive the immunity to allow you to sue them. It's crazy. And it's like they look for certain type of people. It's insane. No parent is perfect before children. Hey, potty mouth. I did. My whole life changed when I had kids. I mean, I wasn't perfect after kids, but I slowed down a lot. And then by the time my little one was like seven months, I Yeah, like 7 months old, I changed everything. I agree. A kid should come first, no matter what. CPS needs to... Hey, Patrick. Long time no see. Needs to be rebuilt from the bottoms up, but there's not enough funding. I get there's not enough funding, but there's too many kids that slip by and too many caseworkers that are out of their mind. I'll tell you my story. I don't have enough time. Well, it's kind of, I don't know. I could probably sum it up in a minute. My daughter fell off a bed when she was 18 months old. I had just moved to Iowa with my ex. And I know what it was. He was drunk and I drove to the hospital and we were fighting. And the nurse said all this stuff that didn't happen. And she had to be rushed to another hospital by ambulance. So she's an 18-month-old baby. We get to the hospital. I stay with her. Me and my ex, this is psycho. Me and my ex stop fighting. And the doctor is asking me all these questions about abuse. And I said, I don't abuse my daughter. So he was like, well, we're going to have to do a full scan of her, blah, blah, blah. Like, they didn't believe it. And I was on the phone with somebody when she fell. And they didn't believe me. And that night, my twin's dad comes to the hospital from another state. I said, what the hell is going on? He's like, they think you beat her. I said, are you fucking kidding me? CPS came that night. I was honest because I didn't know any better. And the next day, they came and took my son while we were at the hospital, and it was a nightmare. Lo and behold, Brad, my ex, hired an attorney that day. We got my kids back that day. Like, it was that fast. And we still had to go to court, and I said I wanted a damn apology. And the court, or it was 2 days later, the judge had said to me, and before the judge, the cops had said to me, the doctor had called me and said, you know, the nurses have been watching you. Everyone's been watching you. We absolutely do not believe that you hurt your child. And I said, I would never hurt my kid. She's 18 months old. And my son was in foster care now for 2 days. So we had to go to court before we'd get the kids back. The lawyer told me they made a mistake. Don't worry about it. You'll have your kids back. And I, called the foster worker. I mean, I was freaking the fuck out, screaming at everybody. And lo and behold, the lawyer said, don't worry about it, go to court. I said, I want an apology and I want to sue the fuck out of them. She said, you have a case and so does Phoenix. And she's like, but if you're looking for an apology, you'll never get one. The judge told CPS it was the stupidest thing that they ever heard. The judge said, you guys did not do your due diligence at all. It was this whole big thing. I went to see an attorney about suing because they lied everything. And went to see an attorney about CPS. And he said, you're not going to get enough money because it was only 2 days. And it's not really worth me suing CPS for $25,000, which is pretty much all you're going to get. Because it was only 2 days, so, there wasn't harm done to anybody, and I just couldn't believe they were getting away with it, why they even do it. Well, lo and behold, 2 years later, I happened to meet a guy in a bar who was this girl, the CPS worker's husband, and he told me that my case was set up because she was having an affair with the police officer, and we lived in a town that had 500 people. And they said that they wanted a case. He goes, and I'm being honest with you. Then I went to see a lawyer again. Lawyer said it gets better, but it's not going to be worth enough money. Lo and behold, the CPS worker and her husband ended up getting a divorce, and I never saw her again. But that's what happened with me. It was insane. Absolutely insane. I know it did traumatize, but because they were so young... she never left the hospital, but she was in the hospital for 10 days. But they came and took him. The babysitter was there and they just came and took him. Police, the officer, and the CPS worker. It was insane. But I said the same thing. I don't know how. I want answers. She fucking lied. I never even spoke to these people. It was horrendous. But I will say, the second that we hired that attorney, it was over. Like, lawyer called us back within 1 hour and said, you will have your kids back right after court. This is like right after CPS told me that I wouldn't have my kids back for 20 days and they would have to come check on me and all this other shit. I was like, she fell off a bed. It was horrible. So I summed that up in 5 minutes. But yeah, it was horrendous. And then I told Brad, I said, we're leaving this county. I am not living here anymore. I was like, I refuse to stay in this county. And I told CPS, I want these records burned. I was like, because now it looks like I have this founded report. I want this shit burned. And I was able to get it removed. But it was like, we didn't even do anything. And at one point, this is when I learned, this is before I learned about the law. Brad has a history of criminal activity. And the cop came to the house after we got the kids back. The cop happened to be in the neighborhood. And he's like, can I speak to you? Can I come in? Brad's like screaming at him, you're not coming in my motherfucking house. I'm like, Brad, what is the big deal? He could fucking plant shit. He's not coming in. And I'm like, okay. He's like, you want to talk to this asshole? You go outside, but he's not stepping foot in this house. I don't need to speak to him. You don't need to speak to him. Goodbye, officer. I was like, I don't have a problem talking to him. It was before I learned the law that you don't say anything and you don't speak to anybody. And, you know, he's like, well, Brad has an attitude. And I'm like, well, you know I didn't do anything wrong, but blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it was bad. That was in Iowa. I absolutely agree, Kimberly. All right, so I'm going to get ready to call this guy in a minute. Purple met a guy in a bar. No way. No, I did. It was me and my friends were out. My friend's like, Laura, you have to talk to this guy. This is, I forgot her name, but this is so-and-so's ex-husband. And I was like, really? Yes, you have to talk to him. So I couldn't believe it. But I'm telling you, I went ballistic. Because, like, it happened over July 4th. But July 4th was on a Tuesday that year. And it was 2008. Yeah, 2008. July 4th fell on a Tuesday. And then I went to court on Thursday. And then the cops came to my house Wednesday. And we hired a lawyer Wednesday. You know, but the scary part was I had only been with Brad like a month at that time. I was there like 3 months. We'd been together like 3 months. And I thank him for dropping $1,500 instantly, like without even question. You know, I needed a lawyer for this, $1,500. He paid, done. Like now he wouldn't. But, you know, I've always thanked him for that because I didn't have it. I mean, granted, I would have got it from my parents, but still. Why didn't you see the doctor? We tried that. And the nurse at the original hospital said that, you know, not to stress over it. The lawyer told me, you know, that they're going to make up something, that she just made a mistake. Because even the ER guy, the ambulance, when he looked at the x-rays, he said, she doesn't need pins. What is this doctor talking about? I said, but they wouldn't tell me anything because they thought I beat him. But I think me and Brad fighting and Brad being drunk, they automatically thought that I had an attitude. And her answer was, I didn't cuddle my daughter enough. What the fuck did you want me to do? She couldn't move. She was like screaming. I didn't even know how to help her. I mean, she was a baby. My son and I collided sledding when he was in kindergarten. I told everyone jokingly I broke it. Not one thing was said to the police or DCF. Wow. A girl he went to school with had a bruise. 1 of 2. It's crazy. All right, I'm going to get ready to call him. Is the lawyer went with the judge now. Now, I don't even think she's in law anymore. But she was like the best lawyer at the time. for that county. I mean, remember, it was a very small county. It wasn't a big county. And what's funny, though, real quick, the cop, the one that came to the door that Brad screamed at, is the same cop that Brad had to go to during the custody fight. It was pretty funny. And I said, I know you. Hey, Kathy. All right. You guys ready? You guys can hear, right? Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Rob.
Hey.
Hey, it's Laura. I called you on my main number instead of my Google Voice. This is actually my cell phone.
Alright.
So, how are you?
I'm alright.
All right. So, we are live. If you want to turn it on, I'm under the one I do lives now on, which is Purple Resurrected. Instead of PURPLEXEDQT is where I do uploads, but I got in trouble with playing Dr. Phil.
I'll try to find it.
What?
Can I find it on, like, YouTube?
Yeah. It's on YouTube.
Alright.
I'll be uploading it later. So I'm going to upload it on both channels.
Alright.
So I re-listened to what we spoke about earlier, and I definitely have a lot of questions.
Sure.
All right, so first, introduce yourself, who you are. I mean, I know who you are, but listeners don't.
I'm, Rob. I'm, Damien's uncle. Tina's my sister. Tim is... I don't even want to call him a brother-in-law, or what would that be? Something like that.
Yeah.
But
And then who's Ethan to you?
it's on Tim's side of the family, so I really don't know any of the Hauschultz like that.
Okay. Gotcha.
My sister married into them.
Okay. All right. And so, as I explained, and as you know, obviously, Tina, Tim, and Damien are all charged with the death of Ethan. Ethan was a 7-year-old who was placed with custody of Tina and Tim because they were supposed to do a better job raising these kids, the 4 kids that Anthony and I keep forgetting the real mom's name had, because they were in and out of jail, drugs, everything else.
Her name's like Andrea.
What?
I believe her name's like Andrea.
Angela, that's it. You're right. Thank you.
Andrea, not Angela.
Angelia?
Andrea.
Oh, Andrea. Okay. Okay. Andrea. All right. And because they were in and out of jail. So, now, you had said earlier that you do not, even though you love your sister from a distance, that you do not feel that they should have ever had the kids in the first place, correct?
For sure.
Okay, can you explain a little more why?
Well, my sister was going to college in Green Bay, and Tim, I give him credit, he's a workaholic. He does work a lot. But, within circumstances, who's there to watch the kids?
True. And it was Damien. Didn't Damien go to school, though?
Yes.
Okay.
But this happened in the summer, April 20th. Yeah, so it was like the last snowstorm we had here, it was an oddball snowstorm too.
Aha. Okay. And Damien, all right, well, I'm just trying to give background to everyone first. So they were placed.
How do I spell that online?
Oh, it's Purple Resurrected, RES.
Is there a space?
Yeah.
All right, I got it.
And it has a picture of my dog on it.
So that would be live?
Yep.
Yeah. It's not a picture of your dog, though. Yeah. I'm going to turn this phone on.
Yeah, you want to mute it on YouTube?
I got it.
Hey, baby mama there? Tell her I said hi.
Oh, she's not here. She
Oh.
went back home. I took them out to Applebee's today, so
Aw.
she ate and left me.
So yeah, so I'm just trying to give everybody a little background. And so they were placed with Tina. Tina's younger. Tina's 10 years younger than Tim, right?
Yeah, I think Tim's 48. My sister's 11 months older than me. She's 36 now. She actually just turned 36 the 16th of this month, or February.
Has she ever been in trouble with the law or anything?
I would say not really. A couple of minor things, but she's been legally she kept her nose clean pretty much. There's a couple things, and I don't want to say it, but
I understand.
They didn't make it up.
Now, just to let everyone know as well, one of the things that Tim had said, that Rob had said earlier, is that he didn't want to do anything that was gonna like hurt or help, not hurt, but it was gonna help Tina or Tim. So if he seems skeptical, it's probably why. I was explaining the lawsuit earlier. It's probably why Anthony didn't want to talk to me. And somebody asked a good question. If they do win a lawsuit, is that going to go to the other kids, or is that just going to go to them?
I don't know for sure, but I would believe it would go to the parents. And you're talking about like a wrongful death lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. But my guess is that's why, they're not saying too much. And they want justice. You know what I mean? You can imagine, here you fucked up your whole life with your kids. They got taken from you, then one dies. Imagine how they feel.
Oh, I hear you.
I would be devastated, Everyone fucks up, but yeah, I don't know.
Now there's Damien, who's 15. He's now 15, right?
Now,
okay.
Right.
He was 14 at the time of the murder. And you had actually taken custody of Damien for about a year, you said, right?
No, 6 months.
6 months.
The time, 2 months after this happened, and then I had him for basically just around 6 months until February 1st.
Okay. And then this happened in April.
Huh?
And this happened in April.
4/20, yeah.
Yep. Okay. So, I'm trying to think how to word this or how to segue into this. So you knew that Damien should not have been around kids. And Damien actually said that, though. Damien said that, everything was fine until all the kids came in, and then everything changed, the house changed and everything else.
Right.
And one of it, like, from our standpoint, Damien's a monster. Damien killed, this innocent kid. But you knowing Dayton and knowing Damien and knowing the family, you see it differently, and you want to speak for Damien that he wasn't like a crazy, child killer. And that's what you want to focus on today. Right?
Right. And like I said, he's going to get something out of this, and he deserves something out of this. But what I was telling you earlier is, it's like if you were in a German army and Hitler gave you some orders to do something, you have no choice but to do it. That's how I see it, and he is, he wanted to be loyal to his mom and his stepdad because my sister put him on the pedestal, and he wanted to go with what his mom was doing. So how could you say no? And I'm not saying that it had to go down like it did, but when you give a kid free reign, and you're acting as like a dictator, then what, that's a possible result of what could happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he carried it too far, but I don't know.
See, like someone on chat just said it, Damien's a victim as well. Do you consider,
right. People, that for sure. Damien he's a perpetrator, what would you call it, and a victim. He carried it too far, but his mindset was, I just want to please my parents, and he's frustrated. He didn't want to watch these kids. You know what I mean?
No.
And you know your kid, man. That's why I say it. And my kids too. I was telling you about my daughter. I love her to death, but I want to leave her alone with my other two kids. It's just like that. You know what I mean? You're not going to give a kid fish constantly if they don't like fish. It's just one of them things. You know your kids.
I'm just going to answer a question in chat real fast. Their foster parents didn't want Ethan to die. They were actually making money on the kids. They didn't want anyone to die.
No, I never really wanted anybody to die. And the thing about the Bible verses, it could have been anything. It could have been, he didn't wash Tim's car. It's that part is tomato. It could have been anything. I would hope that people don't say, "Oh, this is how Christians are," because everybody, it could have been related to anything.
Okay. And you had also said earlier, something that really broke my heart, is that Damien is still protecting his parents in jail.
Yeah, that kid is loyal. He's in the wrong. He's going to get fried for being loyal. He loves his mom to death, and they sold him some pipe dream. They had 8 months to sell him a pipe dream, and he thought he was going home. He thought all this stuff was going to get washed away. I told him, dude, it ain't like what you think, man. But he had, they'd have these supervised visits, and Tim would try to tell him, hey, don't worry, it's going to be okay. We're all going to get out of this, And that's the thing. The judge, she's seen the before and after, where my sister and Tim, they thought they were off the hook, and it was only going to be on Damien. But that judge and the system, they hit him. They blindsided him.
Someone asked in the state Damien's in. Damien's in Manitowoc County, and yes, he'll be tried just like Brandon.
There's not a death penalty here, though.
No, but he'll.
And hopefully, and I'm just saying that. I hope, for Damien's sake, he could get tried as a juvenile. I think that's his only shot, unless he speaks for himself. He actually had a decent attorney, and I think his attorney quit because he couldn't work with Damien. Damien was, hey, he wouldn't speak up for himself.
What do you, can you help us understand the culture of discipline in the house? Like, was Tim physical?
Like I said, that's something I'm not too familiar with, so I can't speak on that. But just the presence of him, he's an intimidating guy by most people. Anybody who's around him knows, like, he's got a type A personality where whatever he says is right, even if it's wrong, he's right. I don't know about what happened in that house before that. Like I say, I only seen my sister from time to time. I loved her from a distance then, but I took their son in because I was looking out for Damien, because I knew they were gonna try to fuck him.
Harry, yes, Tim would be classified as a narcissist, probably a psychopath.
I would say narcissist for sure, psychopath, maybe borderline. But if you look at him, to me, from day one, I always thought he had that. I could be a serial killer look. He just has it. He just has that personality. He has them eyes.
Okay.
And he's smart in court. He's smart in court. He plays the role because he knows what's
up. Someone asked, why are the stepmom and stepdad in jail if Damien admitted to killing Ethan? What did they get arrested on? I mean, I know what happened with the judge, but how did they end up all going down?
Well, because they figured if Damien was the one ordered to carry out the punishment, it was Tim's punishment he was carrying out. The same thing I was saying earlier. If someone sells drugs for someone and someone ODs, well, they want the fucking drug dealer too.
That's true. That's very true. So just if you guys haven't seen my previous videos on it, just to recap on it, Tim is being held with $100,000 bail. Tina's being held on $75,000 bail as an accessory, and Damien's being held on $150,000 bail. The court date for Tim just passed 2 weeks ago, and the judge is actually holding him responsible for the death and feels that he is he was there, whether he was there or not, that he was there and he took a bigger part in it than he is willing to admit. Therefore, he's being charged like he actually did the murder.
Well, yeah, and I think, and he's, for people who are experienced with the system, Tina and Tim lawyered up right away. They got a high-end attorney. They gave Damien a public defender. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that pissed me off, too. Tim drove by here on a Harley, brand new Harley, after this happened, and I told him, I said, what are you doing, man? Why don't you get your kid a fucking attorney? This isn't kid shit. This is fucking serious. And, if I go to jail, then how can I get him attorney? Whatever, man. These guys, they're so full of shit. So I found Damien. I explained to the person who's handling this Chips case. I found him. I said, dude, he can't have a public defender. He's going to get fucking fried there. And so he had a good attorney, and apparently he wouldn't work with his attorney because he's loyal. You can imagine if you were a kid, you're in this situation, you have this guilt. Yeah, I was there when this, you know what I mean? This happened. This wouldn't have happened if I would have did what I did. And then you don't want to let your parents, you could just imagine, man, how, what happened is horrible. It's horrific.
No, I agree.
It's one of them things, man. And for Tim and Tina, too, they didn't expect a kid to die, but like I say, when a drug dealer sells drugs, he don't want the fucking people to die. But hey, it's one of them things. It's not surprising that something like this happened.
And just so, like, some of the people in here know because of me, but for others that don't know, that are just, like, watching for the first time, Damien had already been in jail. We didn't know this, but Damien had already been in juvenile jail since the murder?
No, he was in there for 2 months on a chips case because I think what they tried to do is hold him for, like, just keep him at bay. You know what I mean? Just to keep something while they could investigate further.
Okay.
So, yeah, I had him after 2 months when he was in there. And I don't know, I don't like hanging around my sister's family all the time or whatever, but I knew what they were up to. You know, I knew their whole plot and plan, and so I didn't want. And I knew that they knew that Damien shouldn't have been watching these kids.
That's crazy. And you and Tina grew up in Manitowoc?
No, we're from Milwaukee.
Oh, okay. Are your parents still alive? Like, did anyone, like, wonder this about Tina?
My dad died. Huh?
Like, I'm saying, like, if my dad died too, but I'm saying, like, my mom would know if I was with somebody who's crazy, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, did anyone notice anything? Any signs? Say anything to Tina?
I would say I'm reading this, you know, Harry, if Damien's psyche is basically mind fucked by his parents, for sure. He's still mind fucked. And now he's in a delirium. You know what I mean? This is, you can imagine, man.
I agree.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Speaking of Tim's parents, you had told me something about Tim's dad earlier. Yeah,
something about he went to prison for, like, raping a kid or something like that, man. You guys would have to check into it. I can't. It's something like that.
Okay.
I don't know the details, but I don't know how far you can check CCAP back, because I'm sure this was a long time ago. I actually have a friend that was neighbors with him out in Kibani. So, and he told me about it, and one of them burnt the house down. I'm just saying, man, this.
And so you're looking at, I could see you're looking at chat. I think you're looking at chat too. But, like, the one thing that everyone keeps saying is that, you know, Damien needs serious rehabilitation. And to be honest, guys, that's exactly what Rob was saying to me earlier, is that he seriously, like, that's the one thing he didn't understand, that he needs help, and he needed help, and nobody was giving it to him.
And like I said, for all you guys, if you ever met Damien, he's a good kid. He doesn't do drugs. He doesn't do nothing. He can get straight A's in school, no problem. And he actually is in accelerated classes. He's a good kid. It's just, man, he shouldn't have been in that position. You know, he has, you know what I mean? There's adults that don't like to be around kids because they irritate them.
Yeah.
And this is a kid who they knew, man. And that's why I got a lot of respect for the judge, because I think she sees the same thing, that, hey, this kid shouldn't have been watching these kids. And then they seen him and Tina go in all arrogant in every court case, you know, for Damien's little chip case. You know, you can't touch this. And all of a sudden, when the shit hits the fan, my sister starts fucking tweaking in the courtroom.
And also, a lot of people have asked previously, like, what was up with her mugshot. Now, her brother here thinks that he did that she did that on purpose. Like, he thinks she's going to pull an insanity plea. But there's nothing really wrong with her neck that made it look all weird, right?
Wait, say it again?
That your sister's neck in the mugshot picture was, like, whacked.
Right, she not. I know she looks like Chumley in the fucking mugshot picture, but I think she did that shit on purpose.
Okay. You don't know who Damien's real dad is, right?
Yeah, I do. I know him personally.
Okay, what?
He's not a bad guy, and that's the other thing I'm saying, man. I try to tell my sister to stay, try to make your marriage work. They were married. I don't know their whole situation either, but I don't think he was ever a bad guy. He was, and I think that did some. Damien loved his dad. Damien, they had their car thing together. If you look, I got a bunch of Damien's cars here still. That carpet got ripped away from him when my sister left him to go with some dictator who it's all about me, which is Tim, and then my sister, he got kind of left on the back burner, him and his sister, in my opinion.
Oh, Damien has a sister?
Right, yeah. With the same dad, Chuck.
Where was she?
I don't know. I'm sure she was around, but I don't know. I don't want to talk too much about that,
Okay.
She was going through a lot of shit herself, and she's like 12 years old.
Wow.
And she's feeling it, you can just imagine she's feeling the whole shit.
Wow. Travis, the rape was Timothy's father. Timothy was the stepdad. One of the things that bothered Rob and a lot of people is that, which I didn't know until earlier today, that Damien was actually in juvenile hall for the last couple of months. I thought all three of them were just arrested, but the parents were just arrested. And Dave Remaker is a big part of getting them arrested. So I will throw that in. Because we all know Remaker from Making a Murderer as not being the greatest cop in the world. But he had a good, he did pretty good with, trying to get justice for Ethan. And one of the things also we discussed earlier is that Damien was 14. Damien was following his parents. What else can you tell us about Damien so people don't think that she's crazy? I mean, that don't think he's a psycho.
Okay, so since I had him, in the back of my mind, I knew the extent of what's going on here, and so me and my wife broke up, so my kids were out of the house, so I had got placed in Damien, and I thought it was meant to be, because it was, for sure. I was looking out for his best interests, and trust me, don't think that it doesn't fuck with me that there's this little guy dead, because I got little ones his age. But I was totally looking out for Damien's best interest because he was getting thrown under the bus by his own parents.
No. Which that's the one thing that drives me nuts, and it hurt me so much to hear that. Even though I already knew it because all the articles I read and the court stuff I read. But yeah, the parents are throwing this kid under the bus. Like, both of them are doing whatever they can to save their ass and not giving a shit about Damien. I don't remember if it was a book or a movie I once saw like that. And they just didn't care, and they just threw this kid, like they gave him all the blame. I know what it was. It was that story. I can't remember the name. But a father had, I know there's a girl named Cinnamon in it. A father had convinced a girl and his daughter and his teenage girlfriend to kill his wife. And the daughter was so dedicated to him, and then finally she did it. And he had it happened in 1985, but there was this whole thing that he threw his daughter under the bus for it. Never went to go see her in jail or juvenile hall, and it ended up turning around on him, and he ended up going to jail for life. I think he got the death sentence, and the daughter ended up getting out of it, but it was crazy. The parents do have, well, Tina has a public defender. I'm answering questions. Tina has a public defender. Of course, Tim hired his own attorney and left.
They have their thing. Tim has the same attorney that Tim and Tina initially had, but since they're all getting charged separately, Tim, what do you know, kept the fucking paid attorney.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I had a chance to talk to my sister too, and you know, I don't know, but jail does a lot to people, and I'm hoping that, you know, talking to Damien, social worker, I talked to him and I was like, dude, you know what? If he could get bail, I'm not taking him back in here, because he needs to understand that he needs to look out for himself, and being in jail, he's going to understand that that's not where he wants to be forever. You know?
Yeah. I agree. No, Travis, one attorney represented them initially, and then Tina got the public defender, and Damien got a public defender, and Tim took the money. Tim took the lawyer.
One attorney represented Tim and Tina. Damien never had a good attorney until I spoke to the social workers, and I let them know, hey, he needs an attorney. And so someone was representing him separately. But they backed out, I think, because Damien wasn't working with him. So now he has a good attorney again, and I hope I get the chance to talk to him. And, you know, they need to look. When you first look at it, just like everybody else, oh my God, this kid hit your kid 100 times, killed him. What a monster! And it's a hard pill for me to swallow too. But I'm just saying, if you met him, man, you would just know. You know your kid's limits, man. You're
Absolutely.
not gonna send a kid in a wheelchair to a dunk contest.
How come you haven't been able to see him?
I actually could see him. I wanted to just take a little bit and
okay.
see what happens.
Okay.
You know, I still got stuff here. I would hope that I want the reality to set in that this isn't what you want, Damien. You know, but it's up to him. You know, I don't want him to lie. I don't want him to say anything that's. I don't know.
What do you think's gonna happen when he gets on the stand?
I don't know if he would. I mean, if you were his attorney, you would say, dude, you take a plea. The one thing you can do to help yourself is testify against your parents. You know what I mean? It's not like there's a denial of what happened. What happened, happened.
Yeah.
But then you think, too, okay, as much as I hate him, you would think, too, dude, I wasn't there, right? I mean, anybody in their right mind, if you put your feelings for everything that happened aside, now at this point, right? I mean, who wouldn't say, hey, you know what, this is the best thing I got. I was not there. Who wouldn't do that? And it's an ugly truth, but it is what it is.
Mommy of three, no. Tina is Damien's biological mother, and Tim is the stepfather.
But actually, no, Tim's a real father. And the story behind that is Chuck, Damien's real dad, I don't know. He wanted to see his kid, but, and they were, until Tim stopped them from seeing their grandparents. And I got him to see his grandparents again because I put all this shit on paper. I was like, dude, I'm his uncle. The best person for Damien right now is to see his dad and his grandparents, his real dad. So initially they said, no, you can't do that. That's all Tim, because it's all his power trip. But when the pressure got on, they start letting him see his grandparents again. And Damien was over there every weekend up until he got arrested. So that's the best place for him at this point, is with his real dad and his grandparents. They're great people.
Why wouldn't they? Well, I guess because it's not. I was going to say, why didn't they put the remaining kids with your side of the family? Because obviously, you know, the Hauschultz are not doing very well. Bernard, hold on. Bernard, why does it matter everybody's last name? You mentioned some girl, Jody. Who is Jody? Jody is not Ethan's mom. Andrea is Ethan's mom. That's why all this name stuff, you're way off, Bernard. Jody is nobody. I don't even know who Jody is. Andrea is Ethan's mom.
So as soon as I got Damien, I think they asked him to be with me because they didn't think I would get him, because I'm on probation. And for a 4th OWI, just saying. I got, hey, everybody's got their problems. And the social worker who helped me out with my daughter, she asked me, she's like, Rob, we don't trust him with anybody else. We want him to stay with you. And she knew me. She knew I would be, you know, I'm playing with shit. You know, I get shit.
Yeah.
So that's the reason that he ended up with me. And Tim and Tina, especially Tim, asked me, hey, you're on our side, right? I said, no, brother. I'm on Damien's side. Because I knew what they were trying to pull, man.
And here's my other question. And someone brought it up earlier. If you knew that Damien couldn't be around kids, any reason why you didn't call CPS earlier or do anything?
Well, my assumption was that they had the kids. They were watching the kids initially. But the one thing that's like crazy in my heart is the pastor stopped over our pastor stopped over my mom's house, you know, just hanging out or whatever with me. And we got into this conversation, who's watching the kids? And the pastor was like, I don't know. You know, I said, well, if Tim's working all the time, if he is in Green Bay, who's watching the kids? And a week later, this shit happened. And it's not like we were there. Oh, you see him every day. You know, I haven't seen my sister in months before that.
No.
I've seen my sister, you know, like 6 months before that.
It's crazy. Bernard, Chuck is Damien's father.
Yeah, Charles.
Charles' last name?
I call him Chuck. His name is Charles. I don't want to go. If he wants to give you his name, he will.
Okay, fair enough. That's why I didn't ask. But people keep asking. But that's why I hadn't asked you. Yeah, if the system failed Ethan, then why wouldn't the system fail Dayton as well? It's an excellent point. Bernard, it doesn't matter, Chuck who.
Okay, here, let me tell you something about the system here. This town is naive. All right?
Manitowoc, yeah, we know that.
They think everything's Teletubbies.
Okay.
They mean well, but you could tell them anything, and they'll believe it. And I don't give them fault because this is the mindset we're dealing with. You want to think that when you adopt a kid out, or hey, you're gonna watch these kids, okay, the kid's gonna be fine. Well, definitely better than where the fuck the kid came from. Yeah. And that's for sure. You know what I mean? There's how much far from the gutter can you? anything's better than that, you know?
I hear you.
It's a conundrum.
No, what I think is funny is Bernard is using a fake name, is freaking out that somebody is not giving someone's last name. So I think that's ridiculous and funny and ironic.
Life goes on.
And oh my God, does Damien have a learning disability?
That kid is probably smarter than you and me both put together. Now I'm not saying a conniving way. He's no conniver. In a book way, in a understanding way. You know what I mean? Like, you put elements together, he's got your number. You know, there's a part of his life called love that he was not shown. And I truly believe that. And it's hard to decipher, well, this kid's so smart, but how come he didn't understand? You know, and that, for me too, I'm still fucking with it, but he's never been shown love. I'm telling you, I could tell by being with him. He's loyal, and that's something he has in him, but he's never been shown, like, real love. He's cold. He's cold in that area, and that's what sucks about my sister and that faggot, Tim.
And sadly, there's a lot of kids out there like that come from really bad families that are really, really smart.
As much as I fucked up, I tell my kids I love them every chance they get. They tell me, Dad, I know what you're going to say. You love me. I say, you goddamn right, because I do.
Aww.
Well, I'm just telling.
So now, if Tina, I mean, obviously you and Tina grew up in the same house. Is Tina, like, what was Tina like as a mom beforehand?
I wouldn't say she was a bad mom because, you know, we come from the other side of the tracks.
Okay.
We'd go in the living room. I had to sleep on a couch with a hooker before. There was hookers in our house all the time, fucking crackheads, everything in Milwaukee.
Wow.
You know, I would say the sad part is, and I love my dad. I don't want to put my dad down, but I think Tina looked for my dad.
Okay.
In a man. You know?
Okay. And your dad was just like,
Wow.
Your dad was like Tim?
He wasn't like Tim. My dad wasn't a liar, though. My dad was who he was. There would be people crossing the street in Milwaukee. I didn't know there were so many white people in this neighborhood in the world until I moved here. It was all Mexicans and blacks, and I'm cool with everybody. I don't got a racist bone in my body. But someone walked by my house and my dad, you know, say something to my dad, he'd be like, fuck you, nigger. You know, and I'm just saying, that's who my dad was.
No.
So you know, we had our house caught up. A lot of shit, man.
Now, with Tim growing up, I mean, with Tim working all the time, so he was probably, like, making money, I'm assuming. Right?
Yeah. Oh, he has money, and that's why I am so surprised that he didn't get bailed out, because I don't know. I'm still surprised he's not bailed out.
I don't think Judge will let him be bailed out.
No, $100,000 he can get out. They'll probably put him on house arrest, you know, but.
Does Tina have a history of, like, making up medical conditions or mental health conditions?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, she does?
And she would go through with it. The thing with my sister, ride or die. If they say, oh, you need a lobotomy. My sister, for insurance money reasons, she would do it. For example, let me tell you something. Me and my ex, we went to the hospital in Green Bay. Tina was having some problems, and I went up there. I was like, man, and Tina was like, do it. And I had like, my heart was broke. I thought my sister was in some serious fucking shit. So I put my little Adidas hat on her, and I gave her a kiss, cried on her cheeks, and the doctor told me there's nothing wrong with her.
Wow.
It's fucked up.
Wow. So Ziggy said that she could swear she was doing the neck thing in a wedding picture. I saw other pictures of Ziggy. I never saw it. I never saw her doing that neck thing ever.
No, only when he thinks it's important.
Aha. Okay.
She got taco neck syndrome.
She has what?
Taco neck syndrome.
What's that?
You don't watch Taco Bell commercials from the 90s?
No. The neck thing means that her neck was like to the side like this. I can't even go that far.
No, she's fine. She's fine.
So now, you were saying something earlier and then before too, that, so Tim was telling everyone, don't worry, we're going to get out, it's no big deal. Are they allowed to speak to each other or no?
So, I don't think Tim and Tina can talk to each other, but the one ruling in court was where they could have supervised contact with, SH.
Who's SH?
Alright, I thought I said that to you. I don't want to say it because that's some child information.
Okay. You said it to me earlier, though?
Right. You should be able to put two and two together.
I'll re-listen to it. Not a problem. Okay. You can finish what you were saying. You can leave the initials.
Right. Wow.
No, this is Tina's brother, not Damien's sister. Tina also had a history of lawsuits for injuries.
Right. She had sued natural ovens, and that was, you know what? If I could predict shit, I would be a fucking lottery winner, because me and my mom were sitting in the house, and I had told my mom within a week Tina's gonna pull up some shit with this natural ovens. Sure enough, she fell on camera.
Wow.
And that's where I say they ride till they die. They'll do the whole fucking, if they have to take my leg off for me to get this win, fuck it.
Wow. That's crazy. Harry, no, they're not together. I asked that earlier. Damien is in juvenile. And Tim's in regular jail. And Tina's in county, right?
Right. And I believe, as the last I know, it was medical. And this is, I can look out my front door and the jail's right there.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of crazy. This is the closest my family's been together in a while.
Wow. There was something else that I was going to ask. Yeah, how are you doing? Like, are you letting Damien's lawyer know that you're ready to help with anything? You know, like, have you gotten that far yet?
So, Damien's attorney, he's a good attorney from Milwaukee. He hasn't been available, which in some cases people are, oh, he don't care. But in my opinion, means that this dude, he's got something going on.
Yeah.
But, you know, I got my own kids. I got 4 kids. I got my baby's mama. She's gonna move to Georgia with the little guy.
Aw.
I got my little ones, my princess and my booger. I see every other weekend, and they don't want to leave Dad's house.
Aw.
I don't have much. I'm not rich, but in my opinion, I make Florida look good.
Good.
You know, and you know, material shit don't mean nothing. And that's where I think that in my eyes, God's blessed me because He knows I don't care about that stuff. I'm just trying to get through my own rough times, and I care about people. And that's one big reason I keep to myself, because everybody's trying to fuck everybody, and I don't want to fuck nobody. I just want people to do their own thing, and if you really need something, I'm here.
I was going to say, what would you do if Tina called you and said, help me get out?
Well, she looked around in the courtroom and gave me this, I love you. And it broke me a little bit, but I just looked at her and I didn't say shit because she was totally against me 2 weeks before because I was helping Damien out. And now she's in her predicament, and I still love her. You know, part of me wants to say, hey, I love you too.
I get it.
But part of me is like, yeah, no. You know?
I can understand that too. My dad was abused by my grandmother, sexually abused, physically abused, mentally abused. And when she died, like I didn't really know her, but when she died, he was very upset. And I remember looking at my mom like, why is he so upset? Like I thought he hated her, but it's still her mom. It's still his mom, regardless of what happened. It's still his mom. So I totally understand what you're saying.
And that's how you can picture Damien is. You know what I mean? It's still his mom. What else does he have? You know?
It's true.
And the thing is, the tricky thing is, the sister went home like 2 weeks before this happened, and Tim was like, oh, Damien, you're going to come home in a little bit. And I was clusterfucked myself because I was like, what the fuck are they doing, man? And that's where I think it was, and don't blame the system, man. I'm telling you, you got to understand you're dealing with naive people. Everything is perfect Teletubby shit. So this is the system you're dealing with. So if I tell you, hey, everything is peachy, and you know what I mean?
I do.
So you just agree. You can't not necessarily blame. Obviously, if they knew the scope of everything, they wouldn't have sent them with them.
But how did they not check them out?
They did check them out. But how can you check someone out that says, hey, you know, this was, I'm his uncle, everything's, I don't know, people, you could make anything into what you want it. You know, you can check somebody out so much, but eventually you're going to take their word for it if you don't find nothing too drastic.
No.
And like I say, anything was better than where they came from, in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Where they were called 50 times to one house.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, so, okay, let's get him out of hot water. Oh, and the uncle was living there. So the dad was living with him before he went to prison.
The dad, Anthony?
Yeah, yep. Well, the dad of Ethan.
Yeah, that's Anthony.
Right.
He was living with Tina and Tim?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, they had some badass place. They were like, oh, only if God would give us this house. Only if God. And then they got the house, they stopped going to church and everything. It just showed their character. I'm just saying, you know, people, and in my hopes that something good, what good is going to come from this? Shit. What good can come from this?
That's very true. Very, very true. And you don't know, I somebody posted earlier that I do know it. Andrea's last name. You know what it is? I mean, we have it. I just totally forgot.
Is it Hauschultz?
No, that's Anthony's last name. That's his dad's last name. I know that because I became friends with him on Facebook, but he won't speak. Which makes total sense from what you're saying that there's a lawsuit. That's why he won't speak. But I know somebody posted, Everett. That's her last name, Everett.
Everett.
Yeah, Andrea Everett. Everett. Somebody, Remy D, he's in juvie, he's out at 21. That would be in any other state except Wisconsin. He's being tried as an adult. Wisconsin for murder reserves the right to try you as an adult. His only chance is going to be if they continue to charge Tim as the actual murderer because he was pulling the strings. But looking at the police reports and everything else, Damien is going to have a tough time saying that he won't ever hurt a kid again. The problem is that what Rob and I discussed earlier is that, you know, you could put Damien in jail for 30 years. It's not going to rehabilitate him. He needs psychological help. Even like, you know, knowing that.
So here's the other thing. I had, as soon as I got there, because like I said, I had a daughter who was raped, and I had her in tons of counseling. It was by her grandparents. I was in jail at the time when this happened. I still feel guilty as shit for it happening. But when she told me, you know, I sent her right to the police station and had her explain to the cops what happened because she was told not to say nothing to me. And and she was smart. My daughter is 16 years old. She makes $3,000, $2,000 a day online.
Nice.
I know, and I told her I'm not surprised. If it was someone else, I would probably be surprised. But because it's you, I'm not surprised.
Aww.
And so I'm gonna try to. She wants to travel the country, so I'm gonna try to get a little small fucking magic school bus, and we're gonna go do our thing. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool. So somebody brought up a good question. Hold on. Where was it? I think I skipped it.
And just to get clear, dude, I'm living on a prayer. I'm just saying, I don't need nobody's money, but I'm just telling you, dude, I go to the food center. I'm proud of my daughter. I don't want nothing she got. I want her to be everything she can be.
That's very nice.
I'm in a different realm. You know what I mean? I appreciate what you got. I don't need shit, man. I'm good the way I am. She can come over here and help me fix some of my shingles on my roof. I'll put her up in my bucket truck. But
that's awesome, though. I'm really glad you reached out to me. I mean, that's awesome. So one question that I couldn't think of that somebody had asked, and I meant to ask you this earlier too. Was Tim really religious? Like, was he that religious? Or
yeah, religious in a sense is you believe God the way he believed. If that explains a lot, it should.
Okay, so the Bible verses, was that blown out of proportion or that's real?
I think, you know, here is the dark side to everything. Even the devil believes in God.
That's true. That is true. But I mean, so, because, like, there's been mixed reports that the Bible thing wasn't real, but then I read a lot of articles that said it was real. And the police report said it was real.
Right.
And then...
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was something to do with Bible verses, but... It's just his personality. If he could tell these kids to, all right, we're working on a car, name some car parts, name a transmission, you know, if that was his persona, then it would have been that. I don't want people to, you know, navigate towards the God thing because it's his person.
Okay. And most of us understand that. Some people are just thinking, you know, possibly that, you know, wanted to know. A lot of us are atheists. Some of us are not, but I mean, I am personally, but a lot of us are.
Well, that's fine.
But I think it's more. I think it's more.
I'm gonna tell you that it don't matter what you believe on. If people were to go by the 10 Commandments, forget God, if you were just to do it as like a way of life, then there'd be a lot more people alive and fruitful.
It's very true. I won't deny that at all. My ex-husband used to say God means good orderly direction. So, I mean, I agree with that. But like someone just said, it's very true. He used Bible verses like cults do. Like it was just a matter of control. And that's why he's saying it really wouldn't matter what it was.
A matter of control. Control freak. 101.
Did you know that they were making his kids carry these logs like for hours at a time?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know anything that was going on over there. That's fucked up. Oh, it pissed me off that was happening, you know, and that was in the time frame that I didn't talk to them. The only thing I knew, you know, the one time I seen the twins was they came by here, Tina brought them by here, and the sister, they have a sister, and they came to my house, and Tina was, I don't know why she showed up, but I gave them some donuts, you know. I was like, hey, you want something to eat? They were like, hell yeah. You know, well, they didn't say hell yeah, but they were all hell yeah about it. But I gave them some food, and Tina was like, oh, the one brother was touching the other brother. And I was asking, what the fuck are you doing? You know, you gotta watch these kids. I was thinking about, like, my kids. You know, I have them, it's just a weird shit, man.
Wait, you mean Ethan and his twin brother?
Something like that, yeah.
Twins are like that, though. They really are.
Yeah, but you gotta think where they came from.
Yeah.
You know? And this is when they first got them. And they were asking my mom to go to Wisconsin Dells, but it was only to have my mom watch the kids, and she was like, "No, I'm not going." And that's the only time Tina only comes around when she needs someone.
Now I'm gonna ask.
I like the little guys, dude.
I'm gonna ask you a tough question, which you may not even know the answer. Any suspicion that Tim was molesting the two girls?
I think Celine would have said something.
Okay.
I think the oldest would have said something, and I think Damien would have said something. I really do.
Okay.
So I know initially he got charged with like a sexual assault, but that got
because I was just
dropped, and that's what I thought too. I thought it's possible, but it's really unlikely.
Okay. Are you going to testify if asked for Damien's defense to explain what he witnessed in the home?
You goddamn right.
Okay. Okay.
Goddamn right.
So now, let's get into Damien, straight Damien for a minute. You had told me earlier that you believe that he was influenced to do this, but it's possible that he has maybe psychopathic tendencies because he he never got love, which very well could form a psychopath. Do you think...
It is. It's not very well.
Do you think he's even safe on the streets?
For sure. Because when he's 18, he don't have to be around kids if he don't want to be. Can you understand that?
I do. I know what you're saying.
And he'd be fine. Be like, fuck you, I don't want to deal with you. Have a nice day. You know, instead of this fucking weight shifted on me where, I don't know. And at the same time, I'm telling you, he still deserves something for what he did, because anybody could say, you know what, I'm not going to do this. But, and you think his size, dude, I'm 6'1", 220, 230 pounds. He, when he left here, he was 200 and some pounds. 6'1", as big as me. But still a kid. See, that's the thing. You know what I mean? He's still a kid.
See, that's the whole problem, like part of the problem in our justice system in states that try kids and adults, that at 14 years old, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's 14. Is he remorseful at all?
He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing to a certain extent. He could have, he could say, you know what, I don't know. And from somebody I talked to said, Rob, that kid wouldn't have died if he wouldn't have had hypothermia. And because the kid was in a puddle of water, because it was warming out, he would not have died.
Yeah, but from what I read, it seemed like Ethan was half dead before he even hit that snow. Like, he was so out of it.
I would say he was out of it, but I don't know. And the thing is, Damien called his parents 2 times. So...
yeah, that's another thing I read, that he had called them twice, and they said, yeah, we're on our way home, and never did anything. Like, never came home.
Right. And that's the story of my sister and her husband's life.
How long... but they didn't even remove the kids after Ethan's death, did they?
Wait, say it again?
They didn't remove the remaining kids, did they?
Yeah, they put them all...
no, I'm saying immediately.
The fucked up part, I think, is that they put the rest of the kids, like Celine, Ethan's brother, Ethan's sister, with Tim's sister. So... it's kind of fucked up. You think you'd want to get them out of that whole scenario. You know, just fuck it. Let's start from scratch. But I don't know. And I'm not putting her down. That is a good foster parent. But I think this is too, how you would say, perplexed to...
no pun intended.
Right.
That was a good one, Rob.
For these guys to be in that scenario.
No, I understand. And you wouldn't know if this is the sister that was raped, right?
Right, and I don't think... oh.
The one the father raped. Tim's father.
No, I don't... she was in the military. She's a good
Oh, okay.
So everybody knows that woman she cares about kids.
Okay.
And I think initially she was pissed off on what happened.
I believe it.
I guarantee it.
I believe it.
But then again, she loves her brother. You know what I mean?
No.
There's some unconditional love when you go through some serious shit that you guys stick together. So some shit that seems normal to some people doesn't seem normal to you.
No.
You know what I mean?
I hear you. Other question too, that Damien's school, they never saw anger issues or anything. They never, like, around other kids.
There's some stuff there documented, and I guarantee that's why Tim's charged with what he's charged with, because they had calls on, there's some stuff there where Damien was, I don't know.
Guys, so far I'm the only one that's been advocating for Ethan. And I've been trying to get awareness to Ethan, about Ethan, because there's nobody sticking up for him. Talking to people in chat. Someone had asked who's advocate for Ethan. So far I've been the only one.
That his twin and his sister didn't be airlifted out of here to somebody else just because,
Yeah.
Just because. So is Celine. And it's fucked up.
It's crazy. It's such a sad story all around. Do you think Tina's going to get off?
I think Tina will get the lesser of the sentence.
Yeah.
I think I have to talk to her and let her know her husband's going to fucking turn on her like a dime. It's my sister, She's a block away from me. I still haven't seen her.
Wow.
I love her, and all the little hustling and everything else. It's still my sister.
Why'd they move her to Milwaukee instead of staying in Manitowoc? Manitowoc doesn't have female?
My dad, when he got off drugs in Milwaukee with all them hookers, he said we bought a '67 Chevy up there, and he said when I get off drugs, I'm gonna move up here. So that's what he did, and here we are.
No. I'm saying, why is Tina in jail in Milwaukee instead of Manitowoc?
She's in Manitowoc jail.
Oh, I thought you said she was right across the street. I gotcha.
Yeah, I'm in Manitowoc.
Oh, I thought you said you were in Milwaukee. All right, my bad.
No, I'm from Milwaukee.
Ah, okay. All right, I got it confused. Was Tim and Tina involved in drugs? No, because he worked hard and she was going to school.
I think Tim tried to turn a different leaf, but he was still who he was. And he committed to his deviant personality. You know what I mean? Although trying to do good, he still was a deviant.
Okay. And I just want to say, the reason why I asked you about if Tim could have molested anyone is because in a majority, I'm not going to say all, I'm not even going to say most, but in a lot of cases where a kid kills another kid, a lot of times it has to do with because the father was molesting one of them and then got jealous because they went to the other one. I mean, like deep-seated sick shit, but it happens all the time. So that's why I was wondering if possibly that could have something to do with it.
tell you something about Tim. Okay, I have a brother in Vegas who now lives here.
Okay.
It's another weird conundrum, but he witnessed him licking up dog spit. Like his dog threw up or some shit like that, and Tim licked it up. Some fucked up shit.
It fucked up. You don't even want to say it.
That is it.
Wait, maybe I missed it then. Tim, your brother witnessed Tim picking up dog shit? I'm confused.
No, licking up dog spit.
Licking a dog's dick. Wow.
No,
what?
Fuck, woman?
What?
No. Licking up dog spit. S-P-I-T. Holy shit.
What's stig?
You just went to the worst case scenarios. Spit. S-P-I-T.
I don't know what stig is.
Vomit.
Oh.
You know what vomit is? Oh, alright. There you go.
He was licking up vomit?
On the floor.
Ew.
Yeah, dog food.
Gross. Why?
That's kind of fucking weird. And my brother witnessed that shit. And he thought they were weird. Who knows?
Wow. That's crazy. That's insane.
Tell me, man, that guy's got serial killer in his eyes. I guarantee if he got out right now, he'd be like, coming for me. But I'm ready for his dumb ass.
Wow.
I wanted to, when I'm in the courtroom next time, I wanted if they'd arrest me if I put a jar of Vaseline in the movie camera comes towards me, the news camera.
Wow.
I want to give him an orange jumpsuit with a patch in the back so he can fucking...
Now, I have another question. If you're asked to testify in your sister's hearing...
I told you, you goddamn right. Tell them what I know.
Okay.
I'm not perfect, man, but... I think of my kids. I think of people's kids. In general. It's not just my kids. Dude, I would think anybody's kid the same way I think of my kid.
Yeah.
It's fucking... You know, I used to call my mom because when I was younger, like 19, and I had my first kid, I go, Ma, I can't handle her. Come here and help me. Come here and help me.
We all did that.
You know? Yeah. Well, you know your limits, you know?
That's true. It's very true. Someone wants to know if you're willing to keep in touch and do more interviews after the trials and stuff. Hey.
Yeah. No, I would. I probably would.
Thanks. Yes, he already said he would testify for Damien in a heartbeat.
You goddamn right. And it's not because what he did is what he did. It's because what he did was intended by his parents' age. You know what I mean?
I do.
They lived around long enough to know that, you know.
I do know. I absolutely do know. Now, one thing you can tell us, because I'm not from Wisconsin, I lived there for like 4 months once, but why are they so apt to charging him as an adult for this? Because he's not. He's a kid. He was 14 years old.
I think I think they want to give him a chance to, you know, tell. I think they're giving him a chance in a way. It don't make sense, but I think they're trying to give him a chance. Hey, this is what you're fucking facing. You better start fucking talking.
But you said earlier, too, and I want to stress this, people that didn't hear it earlier, Damien will not give up his parents. He is so loyal to them that he is constantly sticking up for them and, like, ready to take the hit for all of them. So that's why.
Right, and that's why I want to take his ass back on, you know, I still have custody of him until June. He needs to understand that this shit is different. You know what I mean? He's not going to get out of it. His parents sold him a pipe dream even after this happened. And the proof is that they gave him a public defender right after. They let him talk. They let him talk his way into a persecution, per se. But I don't know. It's fucked up.
What if Tim and Tina say, you're going to say that you did this alone and we have no part of it and blah, blah, blah? I mean, you think a judge would actually believe it?
Well, that's what they've been saying. And they were all hunky-dory. You could see the pep in their step when they were walking into his little CPS cases, that nothing was going to happen to them. And all of a sudden, Tina got a fucking bad neck.
Did Tim keep the kids isolated? No, because Tim worked all the time. Are you there? Did I lose you? No, you're still there.
Yeah.
No, there you are. Did Tim keep them isolated? Like, were there other kids around? Were they social?
Yeah, I think, and if you were going around his house, he had people working for him, including his own sons. And he has more sons than that.
Wow.
I think he just thought he was, narcissistic. That was narcissistic. That was Tim's persona.
Wow. And what about school? They never spoke to anyone at school? The kids never did? That this is what, like, nobody said anything?
That's going to come out in Damien's court, that he had some abuse thing going on where, you know, he's one of the kids where we're good, just don't fuck with me. You know?
Yeah.
He wasn't one that started fights, but he's like, dude, don't fuck with me.
It's, you know, I'm so torn on Damien for obvious reasons. Like, on one hand, he was a victim too.
Meet him. You take the time, come up here and meet him. You're down with the Avery thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would say come up and meet him.
Okay.
He's not a bad guy. I got kids. My kids ask me, "What did you do, Dad? What did you do?" I said, "Don't worry about it." You know,
I want to know what your daughter does at $2,000 a week. I mean, $2,000 a day. Shit.
I know, man. She must be like a DC drug dealer.
She's a what?
She must be like a DC drug dealer. I was telling her, I said, really bad, I'll pay for the bus. I was like, no, you're not. I'm not going to let her do that. I'll build my own shit out of my $500 fucking, whatever the fuck I got.
Oh, so you don't even know what she does?
No, she sells shit online.
Oh. Oh, that's cool. All right, so summons of Wisconsin state law dictates anyone aged 10 or older accused of felony first-degree homicide must first have their case brought in adult court. This is why Damien is being tried as an adult primarily.
And I think they're offered him to be charged as a juvenile, and he turned it down.
Why?
Because he loves his parents.
But why?
Imagine, man. It's different than what you or me would say why. You know what I mean? It's just happened because me, so I must be guilty. So, oh, you guys promised me you're going to bring me home? Okay, I'm with that. You know? Don't say shit, Damien. Don't say shit.
Wow. That's crazy. And like I was saying, I'm so torn with Damien because, like, on one hand, I respect what you're saying and I get it. And then on the flip side, I feel like, okay, you still committed murder, but then going back to, yeah, you still committed murder, but you were 14 years old and a complete victim yourself, being under the control of a narcissist psychopath. I mean, I've seen women under the control of a narcissist psychopath who are way older, have children of their own, and go and kill for this guy. Or, grown women under the control of somebody will do crazy things. So take that with a 14-year-old. It's like, whoa, wait a second, It's crazy. You know what I mean?
What are you going to do? It's a conundrum, right? What are you going to do? You're going to say Damien's a perpetrator and a victim? How do you spell that together? It's hard.
It's insane.
But when you look at the hierarchy, if you look at the SS under Hitler, then you would see it. Even though we don't want to do it, we're going to do it. And not saying that they would carry it out to that extent, but if you give somebody with no rules and assumed unpatching for who's in their house, then, oh, it's because you guys. It's because you guys. It's because you guys. And their parents knew that. You know what I mean?
No.
I'm her brother. My sister is as intelligent as I am.
Okay.
She's playing her cards the way she wants to play. She's got some bent cards, but she's no dummy. Either is Tim. That's why I thought they were the perfect match for each other.
Let's say she does get out. Let's say she does 4 or 5 years for being an accessory. Does she have any plans coming out? Like, she thinks she's just going to go right back to school, no problem?
No. Right now, well, she's got a poem book. So if you post that online, you're going to make her money. She already has a poem book with some dumbass poems. As her being an author. But I think she's really feeling it right now. She thinks this is the end. And I was afraid that if she did get bailed out, which initially I thought she might, that she would kill herself. My sister's like that.
Wow. And that's another thing. Is anyone worried that Damien's going to try to kill himself?
I think you guys need to give him some hope.
Okay. We can do that.
Some of you people need to send him some letters.
Absolutely.
Of help, not discrimination.
I would like to get to know him a little. Because, I respect what you're saying, and...
If you met him, I'm telling you, I got my own kids.
So do I. I have 3. I have 3. I get it. One thing that I would want to get through to him is don't back your parents.
Regardless if he gets charged as juvenile or he gets life, that kid is something else.
The problem is if he gets life without rehabilitation, then he belongs life. Because if he doesn't rehabilitate, like the mentality, I mean, he knows he killed somebody. If you're in a car accident, even as an adult, if you're in a car accident, you live with that guilt, and that's hard, let alone being a kid.
So to imagine if you're drunk in a car accident and you run away and nobody sees nothing, that thing is in your head in a little box, and you don't want nobody to know, but the people around you see the car's damaged and they hear this shit on news. And you're not a bad person. I mean, can you imagine that? I'm just saying that. I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just trying to define his state of reality.
Oh, no, I agree with you. And I totally agree with you. What I guess what I'm torn on is that Damien is still alive, where Ethan's not. You know, and I think that's where I'm torn a lot. And because on one hand, I get that Ethan's a victim, 100%. He's 14 years old, and even if he got out of jail tomorrow, he still has to live with that guilt, assuming he's not a psychopath that has no feelings. Assuming that he has feelings. But at the same time, he can breathe. On the flip side of that, I can't imagine a 15-year-old in an adult prison. That's mind-blowing to me.
But breathing isn't everything. You know that. If you've been through some life experiences, you know, breathing isn't the best situation.
That's true. Is the brother and the two sisters that are with Tim's sister, is she married? Like, do they have a solid role model now? You know, like, does Ethan's brother have a male role model now? Or just his dad that's in and out of jail?
So, I'm with Tim's sister. Oh, she's single.
Oh, she is single?
Yeah.
So they still don't have a male role model. Wow. It's so sad. And Blue Topaz agreed, and we discussed that earlier, that these kids need counseling, especially a twin. They definitely needs counseling.
It's twin and his sister.
Yeah.
Everybody leaves his sister out of it, but they're still a family, you know?
Yeah. They have each other, but it's going to take a hell of a lot for them to overcome it.
What do you think?
I think it's
What's your opinion?
I think it's going to take a hell of a lot of therapy and a hell of a lot for them to overcome it. I mean, when you lose a twin,
I think they need to get the fuck out of here and transcend to a different place and start from scratch with.
If he gets help. If he doesn't get help, he's not safer on the streets. He's safer in jail.
No, I'm not talking about Damien. I'm talking about his brother.
I gotcha. Oh, I agree with you. They need to get far away from everyone. Are you going to the preliminary hearing on the 5th?
I don't make commitment.
Is that Damien's or Tina's?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Because I have a friend of mine who lives there that said she doesn't live there. She lives in Illinois. And if she's feeling better, she said that she would go to court if they're, if she's allowed. It's Tina's on the 5th. Yeah, Ethan is a twin. Ethan has a twin brother. Is Manitowoc on this and up in arms? Yeah, is Manitowoc... Well, how's... Like, we know Manitowoc failed the Averys, but Manitowoc has been pretty good with them.
That's the thing about the Averys, too. I bought a Doberman from the daughters. I was with Avery in jail, and asked him if he did. He wouldn't say shit.
What do you mean?
If you think about the Averys, like I was telling you before, at best, he should have got it knocked out at a trial because there are so many circumstances, right?
Yeah.
44 million would have broke this town.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have gotten that much. He would have probably got 10 million, 5 million, something like that. You never get what you're asked for. And that was a big misconception about about the case. Avery was never going to see $36 million. That's just what he was suing for. He would have been lucky to walk away with 5. But the problem was...
They felt a threat, and they dealt with it.
That's exactly right. The problem was, though, that they were taking it from them personally. Like, it would have come out of their pockets personally. So $5 million would have wiped them totally. Is there a victims advocate group in Manitowoc? Or you don't know?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
All right. Yeah, people think it's like a big place. I'm like, it's a small town.
Well, it's like 45,000 people live here, but... And again, like you said, the Hauschultz.
Yeah.
Everybody knows somebody who knows you.
Yeah.
It's one of them girls.
Yeah.
Through now, because of the internet, it's not like everybody would know everybody who known you before, but now because of the internet, hey, yeah, I know that person. She's a banker. Oh, wait, he works at a car lot. It's shit like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of Hauschultz. I'll tell you that, man. I was looking, I was like, holy crap. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't want to give them all a bad name, man, because I'm sure some are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, each person their own respect.
It's true. All right, Rob, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I want to thank you for calling me today, for getting in touch with me. I want to thank you for this interview as well. I would absolutely love to stay in touch. You have my personal cell number and you have my Google Voice number, which is technically, is my YouTube number. But, you also have my personal cell number.
I want to know your opinion.
Okay.
Give your opinion on it.
Okay. Opinion on what?
Yeah. What is?
What?
What it is.
My opinion on the case?
Yeah.
Oh. My opinion on the case in total is that I think it's absolutely horrible what happened to Ethan. As I told you earlier, because I'm a twin mom, this case really hit home. Because it's in Manitowoc County, it really hit home. Do I have a different opinion of Damien now after speaking to you than I did yesterday? 110%. Do I feel that Damien is more of a victim than I ever gave him credit for? Absolutely. Do I think Damien should be tried and put in prison with rehabilitation? Yes. Do I think that that there should be total blame on Damien. No. I think your sister and Tim both belong in jail for life. I think Damien shouldn't be the one getting charged the most. And I didn't think this way yesterday. But after speaking to you twice today, I do see how much Damien's a victim. And I do see where his entire, his dedication. I mean, he's like under a Nazi, ruler. And because of that, it's kind of like a battered wife syndrome. Why doesn't the wife leave? He's a 14-year-old kid. Like, he probably didn't realize that he killed him. I want to say I don't think that it was intentional. I don't think he did it with malice. But I think that he needs to truly understand what he did, and that's gonna determine who he becomes. You know what I mean? Like, if he never takes full responsibility, and depending on like what mental issues he has, even though he's very smart, if he has Asperger's or something where he doesn't really understand, then that's a whole new realm. Because if he's that smart and doesn't truly understand what he did, there could be mental issues going on that we don't know about. Like, there's so much to it, and that's the one thing that I keep thinking, like, when you tell me he's so smart and everything, maybe he has a mental illness, not a psychopath, but maybe he's got a mental illness that requires medication that nobody gave him.
It's weird to describe a mental illness that when someone's farting you. You know what I mean? When you can go into a doctor's office and, you know what I mean, and talk to them, wait, I wish you were my kid. It's like that, though. There's that human possibility of error.
It's just crazy. But that was my synopsis on the case. And I'm following it closely, along with a lot of other people. We are following it. And I will write to Damien. I've never written to Stephen and Brendan, but I will write to Damien.
Nah, go see him.
Well, I live in Alabama. I'm nowhere near there.
Alabama, how far is that?
How far is Alabama from Wisconsin? About a good 18 hours, 16-hour drive. It's a long drive.
It's not that far.
No. It's far enough when you got 3 kids and 2 dogs. But I have a friend that lives over there that said that she wanted to help me with this case any way she can. And if, she said she would go to court for me, that, whatever. So I'm sure she'd be interested in speaking to Damien as well.
So, should I put my name up there so somebody can help him?
I will. We definitely will. I will be in touch with you this week. You can give me, or you can text me his address, the prison he's in, because I don't know juvie. The prison he's in, and I'll send it out, and we'll start writing him letters. Because if anything, I want him to turn on his parents. There's no reason this kid needs to take a fall for it. Granted, he did the murder, but I mean, a lot of women look at almost like Charles Manson. Charles Manson never actually killed anybody, but he went to jail for life, where the people that did kill for him did 20 years. And that's what Damien needs. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's it. That's my.
So let me put this out there. So if you guys, I really appreciate your little Comcast, whatever that was.
Okay.
Bobcat. It's how do I put like my name out there where people would maybe want to see things clearly.
For what?
I don't know how to do it, like an email or nothing.
Okay. You could just text me. You have my numbers. And if you want everyone else, just on the comments on the video, once it's done, just put it there. And then anyone watching the video can get a hold of you.
Alright.
Okay? But I'll touch base with you tomorrow or Monday. Today's Friday.
Alright.
Yeah, either tomorrow or Sunday. Alright?
Alright.
Rob, it was great talking to you, and I will speak to you tomorrow or Monday. Or Sunday. I keep thinking today's Saturday. Alright? Alright. Bye-bye. There you go, guys. That was my conversation with Rob. So I know a lot of people were getting confused about who is who. I know, right, Lisa? It was pretty intense. And it was awesome of him to speak to me twice today. I'm okay. I meant what I said, though. I feel differently about Damien after speaking to him twice. I really do. Damien is still guilty of murder. But, you know, the more I learned about who Tim was, the less responsibility I put on Damien. You know, especially when he told me that Damien is still under Tim's control in jail. That screams volumes. You know, that's what really, really, like, hit me. Like, wow. You know, even in prison, he's still under his spell. But he's in juvie now. He's with other kids. What's going to happen when they put him in adult prison? That's what scares me. You know, as who knows what's going to happen then. It's horrible. It is still abuse. And like yesterday, I didn't have that. I was like, Damien's a psychopath. He killed Ethan, blah, blah, blah. But I get that, you know, they're trying to raise awareness for Damien. On the other side of the tracks. I liked Rob. I really did. He was open and he was honest. But I did get upset with Brendan, with Bernard, that I did block him. So if Bernard, you're listening, this is why. You know, Rob is not going to just spread out names all over the place. This is not a trial that started yet. This is not a trial that, I mean, they just got arrested February 4th. So, I mean, this is all so new that the names aren't out there yet. They'll come out in trial and stuff, but, you know, most of the people on YouTube cover cases that happened already. This case hasn't happened yet. So full names aren't out there yet. And I wasn't going to sit there and ask him. It's not you, Travis. He won't go to adult prison until he's 18, okay? Nicola, it took 6 hours last Saturday, but it's not done yet. It still has 2 hours left. I mean, I still have to go back next week. And I would love for everyone to raise awareness. When I did the first video, they had just gotten arrested. Like, I think I did the video on February 5th. Do you believe his mindset will change since he's in a juvenile environment? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Thanks, Nicola. I truly don't know, Harry. It's, you know, I say yesterday, but, you know, when I first heard about this case and got on this case, it upset me so much that, you know, this poor little kid was dead. And I didn't really care about the rest of it, you know, but I do understand that, you know, and Charles Manson keeps coming into mind. I don't know why, but he does. And I keep thinking to myself, you know what? Sharon Tate was a victim, but so were these women that were under his control. You know, Hitler's, you know, killers were the people that died are victims, but so you can't negate that people that are totally under somebody's control, especially a 14-year-old, you know, you have to give them, like, they're a victim too. Not as much as the person that's dead, but you guys know what I mean. Yeah, Tim sounds like a real winner. Do I think Zellner can help? We don't want anyone out of jail. No, Tim, the son deserves to be in jail. But he deserves to, let me rephrase that. As long as he is not taking responsibility for what he did, he belongs where he is. If he takes responsibility for what he did and sees where it's wrong and has feelings, then yes, he deserves to be out. Do you know what? Not out on the street, but in rehabilitation. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Is that, you know, if it was a case where he is a manipulated victim, and Vanessa, I agree with you, but he deserves to be in rehabilitation once there's something to rehabilitate. If somebody doesn't admit what they've done and doesn't take responsibility, rehabilitation is going to do nothing. I understand there's no rehabilitation in adult prison. And kids usually sing. So sing like birds. So, you know, he needs to get away from his parents' pull. Like, I wish I could remember the story that I'm thinking, but there was a girl named Cinnamon in it. And it was like tons of movies on it with a father. I mentioned it before. It's like the exact same scenario. This kid killed his wife, killed the stepmom for the dad, because the dad manipulated his own daughter so much. And in the end, he ended up doing life, or he got the death sentence, actually. And Cinnamon got out of juvie a couple of years later and has, they found Cinnamon hiding in the doghouse. Yes, Ziggy, that's who I'm talking about. And she went to juvie for a little while, and then she ended up turning on her father when her father, like, wasn't bringing her anything, and the father thought he was going to get away with murder, and he didn't. You know, he ended up getting the death penalty. And Cinnamon, from what I read recently, because, like, I just saw a movie on it the other day too, or yesterday, that Cinnamon is actually living a very good life. Has kids, and she's living a very nice life. He has Stockholm Syndrome. They can request being held in a mental health facility until it's cleared mentally. You were great on the phone. Very difficult to gain information from such a close member of Ethan. Thank you, Wendy. Because he wasn't that close with Ethan. He was more with Damien, because Damien was his nephew. Ethan came from Tim's side, which is a psycho. Tim was the stepfather. He was more about Damien and his sister. His sister is Tina, who's charged with the murder as well. I agree he needs a juvie sentence, absolutely. Cinnamon Brown, maybe. I don't remember Cinnamon's last name. It may have been Brown. He absolutely needs deprogramming, without a doubt. I don't think any 15-year-old should be in an adult prison, ever. To me, it's absolutely heartbreaking, because, I mean, when you take a young kid like that and put him in an adult prison, he doesn't have a chance. He'll never have a chance. There's, like, no way around it. So Andrea was somehow related to Tim. Yes. No, I don't know. Not Andrea. Anthony, his father. So let me go through the list of people so you guys don't get confused. You have Ethan, his brother. I forgot his brother's name. And two sisters. They were all born to Andrea Everett and Anthony Hauschultz. Anthony and Andrea are the parents of Ethan and the four of them. Anthony is in and out of jail. Andrea is in and out of jail. Both drug addicts. So they have these four kids where CPS was called like 50 times. Then finally, when CPS removed them from the home, they placed them with Tim Hauschultz and his wife, Tina. Damien, who's the one that killed Ethan, is Tina's biological son and was adopted by Tim. So you have Tim and Tina, who were the guardians of these 4 kids. I hope that I said that well. I think Damien did a bad thing. His family life was rough, being bounced around. Damien wasn't bounced around. This is where everyone's getting confused. Damien wasn't bounced around. Damien is... Tim and Anthony are brothers. I don't know if they're brothers, but because there's a lot of Hauschultz, they could be brothers. I don't know. Like I said, Anthony has not spoke to me. He won't speak to me. But when Rob told me that there's a lawsuit pending, that makes perfect sense why he won't speak. So I have to wait for this lawsuit to finish. But I'm going to ask him about it. I'm going to ask Anthony about it. Ethan and his siblings bounced around. Well, actually, they didn't really bounce around because they were with the parents, or they were with Andrea, the mom. They were with her while Anthony was in and out of jail. One big clusterfuck. That is great. It's hard because there's so many kids. But it's Ethan and his twin brother, and then there is 2 sisters. One 8, one at 11. That was the time of death. The ages at the time of death. Lawsuit will be stayed until after criminal case is done, most likely. See, you know, I was thinking about it too. Like, I was thinking maybe they're going to sue CPS. But do they really even have a chance? Because CPS's lawyers can easily turn around and say, well, you're their parents. It's not our fault that, you know, you were in and out of jail so much that you can't even take care of your own kids. I mean, that's what I would say. I mean, I know legally they can't do that, but that's what I would say. I have a pen with 10 colors, so I have more colors to use. Lawsuit will be... What's the basis of civil suit? Wrongful death. That they're suing Tina and Tim for a wrongful death. Thank you, New York. Did a bug. CBS probably has sovereign immunity. Yeah, going back to my own story, that's what I was told. That they don't have it totally, but I mean they can. Logically, in my opinion, they can easily say it's not our job to take care of your kids. Why don't you be a parent and take care of your own kids? I mean, that's what I would say. That's exactly what I'm saying, Travis. The defense is the bio parents are really at fault. I totally agree. Oh, it does go state by state? Next time you ask, what kind of person was Tim to the community? He was very, I found that out earlier, fun. He was well respected. People feared him, I should say. But he worked really hard and worked a lot. So it sounds to me like Tim was a lot like my ex. My ex was like that. He worked his ass off. Like crazy hours. I mean, he worked hard for his money. And he made a lot, just like he was saying Tim did. So I didn't want to ask him what Tim did. But I have a feeling that Tim made a very good living, but was on a power trip. Because that's the thing about narcissists and psychopaths. You can have narcissists that don't work at all, that, you know, they just want to bum off other people. But then you have the narcissist or psychopaths where their whole world is their work. Like, you know, my ex was really good at what he did, and he was respected for it. Didn't matter, you know, what he did on the side. He was very well respected for it. So, and he's a union. So Tim could be the same. Damien could resent the intrusion, pug new kids, and do his family, and then having to be responsible for them would cause him to be frustrated. You never know. With a 14-year-old kid, you never know. Pink, you missed the entire interview, but that's okay. Drive safe. Most sociopaths are held in high respect in their community. I'll try and find out more about the wrongful death suit. Thank you, Travis. I'm not sure what you mean by old pop. Yeah, I don't know what old pop was either. On another case with the death of a child involving CPS, all CPS employees, including case managers, were dismissed when a lawsuit was filed. That's interesting. Andrea and Anthony, if awarded any money, will OD quite quickly. That's probably true. That's actually probably very true. On immunity in states system, some have a cap like 50 or 100 grand. Some of it's zero. Wisconsin's weird about money, though. They really are. Like, you can get food stamps in Wisconsin, but you can't get cash. So Ziggy's been obsessed with this other baby that nobody seems to know anything about. It's okay, Amanda. And guys, don't forget, Pink has a rehab special tomorrow on our channel. Karen's posting the links. And guys, if you're not subbed to this channel, you have to sub. I'm like 110 away from monetization. Which I want to thank every single person that subscribed, because even I was like, I never ever thought I would even come close to 1,000 within 3 weeks. And you guys are amazing. So seriously, like, thank you. And I know a lot of you guys are new that didn't come from the other channel. And it's, thank you guys. Like, seriously. You better be subbed, Amanda. Tim's last name is Hauschultz. Same thing that's on the, Ethan, Tim, and these are all records on the WCCA, Wicca site or whatever. Wicca always makes me think of, you know, the witchcraft. But everything's on the Wicca site. Anthony's got this huge record. Sub-second day. Thanks, Rose. I was here, just didn't say anything. That's okay. Yeah, honestly, I didn't think I would actually get to that. I thought I was looking at like April, and then I would go back to my other channel. So a lot of people from my other channel still haven't come over. I don't know why. But when I do a premiere, they're over there. They don't seem to want to come over here. It's like they're stuck on that one. That's why I do premieres over there, to see if it's the same people or if it's different. And a lot of times it's different. Sometimes guys like that don't have any compassion for anything that's weak. When I start my channel, you're all going to sub, right? I'll be watching it. Support. And by the way, Allie is the one that told me that she would help me. She's like, if you need me to go to court, I'll go to court. You know, just ask. That was, you know, a couple weeks ago. I know she's been ill lately, so hopefully she'll be better. Do I have to be addicted to go to Pink Channel? No, you don't have to be addicted. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, everyone. So, Patreon, my mods and other Patreons are pushing it, and I thank you guys so much. But I know a lot of people aren't even familiar with what Patreon is. Patreon is a monthly subscription, whether it be $1, $5, $10, $15, $20. A lot of people, like at least 10 people, started out with $5, then jumped up to $20 because, you know, they wanted to test the water. $1 has gone to $10. So, you know, if you want to start small, it's not going to hurt, you know. But it's one, because I don't have Super Chat. And two, if you wanted to support the channel. And surprisingly, I started that on January 1st. I also didn't think that was going to take off the way it did. I'm like humbled by, wow, this many people want to support me. So honestly, like, that's what Patreon is. So I know a lot of people aren't familiar with it. I know figure skating. Welcome. Travis, you should have heard the one from this afternoon. This one from the afternoon, only Patreons got. It was a lot more intense. A lot more intense. Plus, it was the first time speaking to him. Ah, Wendy. And I also have to thank, I mean, guys, you guys over in the UK and places where it's like in the middle of the night and you stick around for the live chats or set alarms. I mean, you guys are absolutely awesome. It is a tough subject. And if you watch my video, Vanessa, with the first video I did on this, I cried. It was the first time I ever really cried on a YouTube video. I cried. When I was looking at the, I want to become a Patreon for you and for Deadbug. It's annoying. Huh? Keep trying to become a Patreon. That happened to somebody else that wouldn't take their card. I don't know why. Sometimes it's weird. But a couple of people, I've heard that like twice. Maybe it's the timing when you do it. Because you're in U.S. The other girl, a couple of others weren't in the States. So I thought maybe that had something to do with it. Ah, thanks, Sarcasm. Yeah, March 1st. March 1st is a good time to join on the 1st of the month. This way you, like, if you join halfway through the month, then you're only getting half before they charge you again. Because I think they charge, like, on the 1st of every month. So I tell people just wait until the 1st of the month. Oh, Vanessa, you will cry. I have no doubt. It's a tough video. I mean, even me watching it back, I was crying. I premiered it. And I was watching it back. I was crying. I asked him that. He said she sells stuff. Hey, Kyra. Yeah, the Patreon link is right here. It's www.patreon.com/PURPLEXEDQT. I believe it, Lisa. Try to use my card and a little scissors icon appeared. I think the idea was that I should cut it in half. Took me 3 tries at Patreon, but I got it. Yeah, I don't know why it's so tough. I really don't. And, you know, a lot of my Patreons are newer Patreons. Some of them have others, but a lot of them are new or newbies. Which also makes me humble, and I think that's awesome. But, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Not having Super Chat has hurt dramatically. Like, what I've been making the last couple of weeks and last couple of months, and then to now, it's like, wow. Like, so that's why I'm pushing Patreon, too. Then that's also why I'm looking towards monetization. Ah, thanks, Danelle. Well, it's a lot of you guys are new. I started. I didn't think anyone was going to sign up. And, you know, a lot of people that are in it, they don't, you know, engage in the chat. They just kind of read, you know. Like, we're crazy in it. Oh, that Kathy on her channel, on Figure Skating Coach's channel. How cute is that kid? New people with the wrench. Almost all the wrenches. Actually, now it is all the wrenches are Patreons. You start selling what she's selling, I'm sure it is. Sensi. No, we got merch working on it. I'm just trying to finish the house. Which, tomorrow my daughter's getting her hair done. So I want to try to start it Sunday. We got merch coming. I'm building a quick website for it. It's going to be good. Thanks, Lisa. I'm shutting down soon. This is almost 3 hours already. One day I'll do like a normal live where it's like an hour, hour and a half. No, not me. I seem to go for 3 hours every time. Kyra, it's getting there. We're doing individual wine glasses that are hand painted, coffee mugs, and t-shirts. Because everyone's telling me they have to have t-shirts. So once I figure out how to use this Cricut thing, we're going to get moving on it. And it's going to be good. And then, like, you guys, once I learn how to use Cricut, it'll be really easy. I used to be a listener and a reader, but decided to be a commenter. And I'm glad you are, Harry. Saw the video with your kids. Great kids. Thanks. My daughter made an appearance last night. Luckily, there are more wrenches now, so I might get a degree in time. Coffee mugs and wine glasses. That's right. And then, like, if, you know, you don't drink coffee and you don't drink wine, I'm also thinking about making mason jars, personalized mason jars with, like, you guys can pick the color or candles or something. Thanks, Blue. You were awesome today, too. You really were. $9 purple-haired photo. You can go right on Facebook and see it, Harry. I have plenty of purple pictures on Facebook. I'm just a local... No, Ziggy. No, you're not. So, just so you know, my sister and cousin are Cricut experts. Really, Harry? We need to talk. Some of my Patreons are, too. Not your demo men's skincare. We could do that. The whole thing was, like, everyone was asking me about merch. I can't consciously charge, like, $25 for a t-shirt that's worth $3. I don't like Teespring. Charging $50 for leggings of these garbage leggings to me is insane. And it just wasn't worth it. I'm like, their coffee mugs like $12. It's just stupid. So I was telling the Patreon, I can't consciously do it. Like, I just can't. So then we came up with different ideas. I said I can hand paint. Like, I don't mind painting, but I'm not, like, to write on glass is hard. So then we started talking about getting a Cricut. So I said I could go buy one, and I went and bought a Cricut at Hobby Lobby. Bought all the tools and paper and everything to go along with it. So we're going to try it. And I would much rather make personalized, like, one-of-a-kind merch than, you know, like, if someone wants a wine glass, let's say their kitchen is blue, you know, and they want the stem to be blue instead of purple. You know, like something like that. Thanks, Rose. And, you know, that's, I can't, like, I just hate all these companies that charge an arm and a leg. When, you know, you go to Hobby Lobby on a sale, you can get a Gildan t-shirt for $1.50, you know, any size you want. So I just couldn't consciously, you know, charge somebody $25 to have my name on it on a $2 t-shirt. It's just stupid. Can you get earplug merch? I don't know if you can write perplexed on earbuds. At least 6 men who all swore to protect and serve the people of Wisconsin actively undermine the course of justice and are perfectly happy to see 2 innocent men rot in prison. This is true. But Vanessa, I honestly, truly believe that they never expected Brendan to be still sitting in jail. They already got, Kyra, it is. They already got Avery away. I really think that they believed Brendan was going to be out soon. Yeah, Blue, I heard that. I think it was Karen that said that the international shipping was insane. Which I don't know why it's so insane. There's ways to make it cheaper. How much for one that says, to Travis, my favorite subscriber, on a wine glass? I'd pay 25 for him all day for that. I could do that, Travis. And that's another thing with the international shipping. You know, everyone has their own place. You know, like if Karen or Janelle say, you know, to ship to Australia, it's cheaper this way. Okay, so we'll ship it that way. You know, because it's me, I'm not obligated to, you know, like go by one company. It's going to charge $50. You know what I mean? Oh, Falcon, stop. Cricut supplies are expensive. I got them at 40% off at Hobby Lobby. They were having a special, so I just bought a whole bunch of stuff at once. I was like, I have no idea how to use it, but I got it. Blue Topaz, I wouldn't doubt it. For what they charge, I mean, it's totally asinine. You have a condo in Vegas. I cannot wait for merch. Excited. I know. And all the Patreons, if you're a Patreon, you get a big discount on merch. I really didn't think merch was going to be that expensive. I didn't. Like, even to make up t-shirts, it's expensive. That's why I said, you know what? I'm just going to make it myself. And worst case scenario, if it doesn't work and it bombs, and I can't seem to work this Cricut, and nobody I know seems to be able to work this Cricut, I mean, I'm pretty handy. But if for some reason it bombs miserably, then I'll just, you know, go to Teespring and, you know, or one of them. But I think I'll be able to make it work. Will I have a spot kit? Absolutely. And it'll be $150. And I'll have a naked picture of me. No. When did we get a sub named Harry Dix? I don't know. He claims he's been with me for a long time. Then I can do things like become a Patreon and get a Disneyland pass. Well, you can become a Patreon for a lot less than a Disneyland pass. No way, what? Oh, spot kit? No, no spot kit. I wouldn't even know what the fuck to put in a spot kit. What are you going to put in a towel? Autograph picture? See, Harry kind of gave himself away, though, by saying spot kit. Because making a murderer doesn't really know about spot kit. By the way, while I'm here, I plan on making a video about this. I may even do it tonight after I eat something. But this whole Chris Watts things, can anyone tell me where this new stuff started from? Because everything to date that I'm reading is crock of shit. But where he supposedly told the cops, where did that stem from? Does anyone know? Look up June Penny and contact her. Remember I told you she does her own... Yes, you did. She uses that machine. She loves it. Oh, that's awesome, Blue. I will look her up. I absolutely will look her up. Because I think I'm going to need some help. It's still in the box. The police and FBI said it all. Okay, but the police, like, actually at a press conference? Or we're hearing this secondhand? That's what I want to know. I know Herbie Herb, a lot of people had it, but I want to know where it stemmed from. Because I'm seeing a lot of bullshit that was never said. I remember thinking on Chris Watts is, but he looks so normal. I looked at him and said he was guilty as sin. Total guilty as sin. I said that from day one. I just didn't know if they did an interview with the bullshit I was reading. Duty Ron had the best live about it all. I'll have to check it out. Here's Wisconsin states in the news. his new discussion with police. Oh, that's right, because he's not in Colorado. That's right. Okay. Who's Kenneth Redmond? Oh, Pink Ladylike. Okay. Kenneth Redmond, it's me. Where do you see Kenneth? I know that a new interview is supposed to come out on the 7th, but I was really confused because all the shit that I'm reading that these trolls are saying, I know is bullshit. Oh, you joined Patreon? Welcome, Amanda. That's 2 new patrons. I actually met Amanda through the Chris Watts case. I just don't understand why the FBI would interview him. Like, the case is over. Like, what are they... There's got to be a reason they did it. He can't appeal. Because it's his card, so it's signed up me. Oh, that's okay, Amanda. We need a mail. Profiling database. But I just don't get why they care. It's over. It's done. Like, he can't even appeal. Don't get me wrong. I'm interested. I want to see what he has to say. Not that I think he's going to say anything different, but... He probably just wanted somebody else to talk to besides prisoners. I heard it on True Crime Losers channel today, but not sure where you heard it from. True Crime Loser? I don't know who that is. People saying they might be going after... They're not going after NK. I'm decidedly off topic, but I thought you'd get a kick out of it. Huh? FBI trusts to interview all multiple murderers to add to their profile database. That might be true. I didn't know that. True Crime Loser rocks. I never even heard of him. That's his real name, True Crime Loser? That's funny. There's a lot of people I don't know about, though. Kim, I always seem to do 3 hours. That's what I was saying. Thanks, Kim. Or maybe the woman who he was having an affair with her. That's NK. That's who NK is, Vanessa. I heard March 7th it will be released. Yeah, that's what everyone's saying, March 7th. See, Blue Topaz, I was saying that to Amanda earlier on Facebook. Like if he did confess, finally, you know, people like Mensa and everyone will go away. But like she said, they won't. Because now there's trolls saying how, you know, he didn't do it and he's only saying it, blah, blah, blah. So... She laughs at all my jokes. Who? I don't know why they do that, though. Just release it. Is it going to be like a recorded interview? Like, is Dateline doing it? Yeah, are they going to televise it? Are they going to televise preliminary hearing? I don't know, Travis. I've tried to find that out, too. I know they didn't with Tim's. And the judge railed him. Do you think CW will continue to do interviews so that it may lead him to a book? No, I think he just doesn't want to... I think he just maybe want new people to speak to. Yeah, they're saying now they made him fess up. It was a 5-hour interview, recording and releasing documents. True Crime Loser is kind of new on YouTube. I'll have to check him out. He's saying he didn't kill his girls. Who said he didn't kill his girls? Hi, you missed the interview. I don't even know why it matters. I'll check him out. I like his name, True Crime Loser. I don't know how he can say that. I'm just reading this article. So he's still blaming Shanann. Perhaps saying they forced a confession. Well, nobody forced you to throw them in oil tanks, you piece of shit. Does Colorado have Son of Sam law? Yeah, they do. I think Son of Sam law is nationwide. I think it's a federal law, actually. I don't think it's a state law. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive it's a federal law. I don't know if... I guess he would be blaming Shanann. Are you sure, Travis? I'm pretty sure it's a federal law. It's not state by state. Shanann and Chris Watts. Poor Vanessa, she's confused on cases. Shanann Watts, Chris Watts trial. Form of federal crime there is a federal law. Huh? I think she's in that blob of people who don't know care. Who, Vanessa? A lot of Making a Murderer people don't really spin out to other cases. Making a Murderer, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Making a Murderer was almost my first case. First case I was public about, I should say. Better for him to get it out before go in for wrongful deaths, because this way he may have to avoid some answering some questions. Yeah, but even so, I mean, even if they won in court, they're not getting anything. Should I care too much? Help. If state crime, statesman of Son of applies. If described, then Fed Son of Sam applies. No, but for some reason, I think that I remember hearing that the Son of Sam law is nationwide. Frank Rizek said he confessed to it now. Yeah, but that Frank thing I think is fake. Because Leanna, a.k.a. Makeup Mobster, she was looking at it. She said Frank doesn't even have a Facebook account. Look at what I wrote above. Hang on, I think Duty Ron said the interviews might do with Shanann's parents' civil suit. If they win, he won't be able to make money off any book or movie deal. And what if they lose? They get as far under 1K and half of the book. So then maybe that's what has to do with. Maybe that's why he's doing this interview. He's going to say he didn't kill the kids so they can't win the lawsuit. Ta-da! Problem solved. Okay. I messaged him today. Did you get anywhere? I pasted the link to article on Watts. I did see it. I was reading it. I have it right here. I still have it up. But I am going to shut this down because I am starving. But I'm going to do a Chris Watts video after here. Namesake law from the state of New York. Oh, you explain what Son of Sam law is. He can't get money anyway. College girlfriend does not care about essay case. Alright, guys. I want to thank you all for joining me for the last 3.5 hours. You guys are awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. Don't forget tomorrow. I won't be doing a live tomorrow because we'll all be over at Pink's. And I need to get this house done. And my daughter's getting her hair done half the day. But I'm going to check out those 2 channels. Amanda, send me links. And to Figure Skating Coach and Amanda, I will hit you guys up in a little while. I just want to eat something about Patreon and I know, Amanda, you're on Facebook. Oh, actually, I know both of you guys are on Facebook. So I will see you guys tomorrow at Pink's. Make sure you guys sign up for sub to Figure Skating Coach as well. And I want to thank you guys, Blue Topaz, Travis, Ziggy, a lot of you guys for asking really good questions, meaningful questions, sarcasm as well. You guys 4 like stood out. And I know a lot of you guys asked questions, Vanessa as well. But those 4 just stuck out more. Probably because they asked the most questions. So, but honestly, guys, I want to thank every single person in here. And you guys were awesome. And I will see you guys tomorrow. All right? So, be you, be real, and be fucking awesome. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.